Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Autumn Dew 2026. Let's call it that way. We haven't posted much lately, been looking around a little bit what's going on in the gaming business. And that's sort of why we're starting with a bunch of new series probably that I will do. I'm thinking on something like Transport Fever 2 at this moment, because they have announced Transport Fever 3 for this year. So that's why we're having a look again on Transport Fever 2. Maybe go through the campaign and then play a map or something after that, we will see. So something like Tuesday Transport or Transport Tuesday or something like that. Monday Motorfest probably. Thursday Tarkov or Wednesday War, where we do Tarkov, and then maybe do Thursday Trucking in Eurotruck. Maybe Friday Forza or something like that. Some sort of series where we make some videos regularly and post them on YouTube. And some of these things we will stream, and then we'll keep the weekend open for probably some racing and whatnot. Motorfest, I'm thinking season 9. Coming in the beginning of March, so we probably are grinding for our Grand Race rank again there on in that series whenever we start posting those. So today, Tuesday, so let's start with Transport Tuesday. For those not familiar with the game, it's a bit of a you're a bit of a logistic manager, and you need to run all kind of lines, being train and trucks and boats and planes and buses and trams and all that stuff. You need to create the lines, you need to build the lines and run them and make sure you make a profit at it. That's the short way of spelling it. And with Transport Fever 3 being announced for 2026, we don't know exact date yet, but somewhere this year it will release. It will have similar structure, but it will have more industries. Things of course have evolved over time. Hopefully it also runs a bit smoother. It's running fine. We are playing at 2K, running at 144 FPS on my screen, no problem. But once you start building and these cities expand more and more and more, you need a really beefy PC, and even then the beefy PCs are struggling. So hopefully they optimized Transport Fever 3 a little bit better, especially when it has high volume. Let's quickly go to the map editor just to go over the movement, let's say. I will quickly try to explain the movement in this game. Not that hard to do. This is a map editor. It's just basically you start with an empty map and you build it yourself in a way. So what we got here, we get the WSAD. W moves yourself forward over a map, so you sort of fly over a map and backwards and forwards. A and D does the same thing, but then left and right. And then you also have E and Q. That's sort of, let's say, let's build a road here quickly. Let's build another road crossing it. There we go. We're not building roads in this game. This is just a bad example actually, because this is a map editor where you start with an empty map and then you can say, hey, I want so many towns, I want so many industries, and then it builds it for you. But what basically what I was trying to tell you is, like, in this case we have this cross here. We're looking at it from the south, and that's what A and E does. It's a rotational symmetry around the point in the middle, right? So if we turn around this, now we are looking at it from the east, but we're still looking at that same point. So that is more, you move around things and the things stay in the middle of your map in a way. That's with Q and E keys. While with WSAD, you are moving yourself and the point stays where it is, right? So here we fly over, we come back, we can go left or right, but the points goes away then, right? If we go left. So that's the difference between those. And then you have R and F, which is the tilt, so that you are having a helicopter view from above, let's say. That is very handy in case you're building, and that's that. Now you can all ignore all these keys and just hold down your middle mouse button, and then you can move these things yourself the way you want it, just by moving your mouse. That is also an option. Personally, I like to rotate or move myself with W, using sort of as a throttle going forward, and then rotate yourself, go forward again, rotate this way or that way, either with Q or E, and just go forward again. That's the fastest way of moving. And if you went too far, then you come back with S. So I'm not personally using A and D that much, and that also means you can sort of focus on a point, let's say. What you can also do is right click with your mouse and hold it, and then you can just push that thing away or bring it back, or push it to the left or push it to the right. That's also an option, but I know either it's A or D, or it's the mouse movement, which does the same thing basically. One of those T, if you're recording a video or something, one of them is sometimes a bit choppy. So we will see. That's why I did both of them now, to see, then I can see on the video which one of those two is actually choppy, and then we'll make sure that we use the other one. The same goes for the zooming. You can use Z and X to zoom in and out, or you can just use your mouse wheel. Also there, we will see what the video eventually does. One of those two is also choppy. I think everything with the mouse is choppy, I think, so they actually want you to use the keys. That's sort of how the general movement works. That being said, is there anything else? I don't think so. Everything else is in menus below your screen, which will be explained as we go over the campaign. That's the idea. Quitting to the main menu again, and so yeah, there are a few options here. You can browse in your mod browser and subscribe to all kind of things from the Steam Workshop, for instance, and then put them in order. The map editor you just saw, that's basically, you start with a blank canvas, in this case a green canvas, and then you start building cities and industries on there. You just say, hey, I want that many cities, I want small, and you can put them where you want. That just by selecting, let's say, a big city, and then you click on the map, and the game will put a big city. It's not like you have to build the roads, or it's not. We're not doing city skylines here. It's all about the transport. The game will build everything else. If you are delivering to a certain town, that town will expand, and when it expands, then the game will build the roads for you. It will connect extra roads and put them on the map, and so you don't have to do anything of that. You need to make the cities bigger by bringing in people or bringing in products. That is your goal as a logistic manager, basically. And then you can load the game in case you saved some games. We have a few games going. I'm still trying to get some achievements on this, for instance. One of them is where you have to play from 1850 to 2050 with trains only. The other one is used trucks only. So I'm trying to get some different achievements, but one of them is trains only, one of them is trucks only. So that's two different maps, and then we have a test map here as well, and some other stuff. This is an autosave. We can delete that. Autosave, and so you can do in the settings menu. Settings menu, the interface, you can change things in miles or metric or imperial, basically. You can change all that whatever you want. Mouse, you have a few options. If you want to zoom in to your cursor of your mouse, that is also possible. Then you need to select these two things. A few of these things is happening. Keyboard, yeah, 1001 keys. That could be mapped, but most you will do with the mouse and then the keys that we mentioned earlier. The rest, not that important. Give or take. The shift key, which can be used, for instance, shift C, shift, that will do something. We'll talk to that when we get to that. And then you also have M and N, which rotates whatever you have in your hand. That could be a station or a track or whatever. It rotates that in your hand. That is M and N. And if you use Shift and then M and N, you do like little steps. Will all become clear once we start building. I will explain it again. Then graphics obviously depends on what you're using. Audio systems as well. And if you don't like certain sound effects when you're building, or the bulldozer or something, bulldozer you can put off. Construction, when you're building something, you can put these sounds up if you don't like them. And then advanced settings, this is where you have, for instance, your autosave. For me, it will autosave every 15 minutes, and I keep one autosave. All the rest of, if we do any big building, then we are doing manual saves. And then you can do some other stuff here, either enable it or disable it. Anything else? Yes, if we go to free game, that's how you normally start. You put in some filters, and then you go next, and then you put in some more filters. And then you start up, and that's how you start normally a free game. We will do campaign now, but normally you do a free game. By default, you have small, medium, large, and very large, and that's it. But you can go into the folders. There's a folder on your Steam user data. There's a folder where you can, some sort of coding folder in a way, and it has experimental map sizes, and that is on false. And if you move that and you replace it with true, then it gives you also the tiny, the huge, and the megalomaniac map. Tiny is 4 by 4 kilometers, huge is 20 by 20, and megalomaniac is 24 by 24. I'm not sure why that is not in the game. It has been tested by the devs, and that's why it's in the coding folder. And another one you want to put up is the bridge and tunnel heights and tunnel depths, I should say, and bridge heights. That's the same thing in that folder as well. So how do you do that? Let's go that, because there are a lot of people who don't know that. It's not that hard to do. You just go to your hard disk and go to my PC, let's say, and you go to your hard disk and you look somewhere in your, wherever you have Steam. It could be on any of your hard disks. I don't know what it is for you. I think for me it's on C. You just look for Steam, there is a folder, and then you look for user data. If I can find it, there it is, user data. And then you will see a number, and that is that's your personal Steam ID number or whatever. And then you see a map with all kind of numbers, and what we're looking at is 1066 780. That is the one for that's this one over here, 1066 780. And then you click on local, and then you will see the settings somewhere. Over here it's settings, and then it will ask you what do you want to open it. Just open it with Notepad or WordPad or something like that. You can say forever, or you can say it's just once, just open it. And that is that that's what these things, where you have things putting on false and on true. And then you just do Control F, and you type in experimental or experiment or something like that. There we go. And then it will take you there. And the ones we are interested in is this one here. Experimental map sizes is false, is normally in the folder. So you change the false into true, make sure that you leave the comma in as well. And then the other one is this one over here, experimental tunnel and bridges in height. That makes you change the tunnel depth and the bridges height, which means that in sometimes when you, by the default game, you cannot build a bridge. If you make this one true, you can change the height of the bridges. By default, I think it's like 12 meters or something for the tunnel as well. And you can bring it down as low as 2, which makes it, in some cases, that you can build a tunnel that doesn't go that deep, and you can still build it. While in the normal game, where it's the minimum is 12 meters depth, then you can't build it anymore. So yeah. There might be some other things here that you can change if you want, and then you go into file and save it, and that's it. That's all you have to do. So just look in your folder, 1066 780, that is a forever folder, and then you go into local and settings. And that's where you find those things, and if you then boot up the game, that's where you have those things, that the tiny and megalomaniac map, and so it's available to play as well. Just a small thing, if you wonder how people are always doing videos on the megalomaniac map while you only see large and very large as your highest options in the game. That's why they changed that. I don't know why they didn't put it in the game itself. a bit strange that they have tested that tiny, and I'm assuming the big maps they did it for performance reasons, but like the tiny map is 4x4, that's a very small map, should work on every computer, it's the smallest of them all. Anyway, long introduction, more or less 15 minutes of going over the movement and some of the changes that most people have done. We will first have a look at the campaign. I'm assuming
Mankind is constantly creating amazing new inventions. Get involved in rapid technological progress and ensure smoothly running transportation in different regions of the world.
So, as you can hear, we have a voiceover coming into play, and we have 3 chapters here. The first chapter starts in 1850, goes to about 1900 something. And then we start, I think, about 1920.
The new century has all kinds of exciting discoveries,
something like that, to 1970 or something, and then
the world is shifting closer together. The volume of passengers is exploding. The global flows of goods are multiplying. Meet the logistical challenges before and after the turn of the millennium.
Yeah, this is somewhere around the year 2000 that we are starting. So you sort of go through the history of the transportation in these 3 chapters, and every chapter has, I think, 6 missions. So we'll start with the beginning. Oh, campaign, chapter 1.
Is constantly creating. It's the dawning of America in the midst of the 19th century. In the Nevada territory, where until recently only a handful of buffalo grazed, nowadays it's all hustle and bustle. Beyond the Sierra and near the Carson River, gold has been found. There's supposed to be loads of it. All you need to do is dig it up. Anyone who keeps at it hard enough will be richly rewarded. What a splendid opportunity.
We're not starting completely at 1850 this time, which is as early as you can start. You can start your map at 1850 or I think up to 2000 something. It goes further than that though. But those are like the starting moments that you can choose. In this case, chapter 1, mission 1 starts at 1865 and it plays till about 1875. So we are sort of covering 10 years in this mission. So we'll have a look at this mission. You can see bonus tasks that I have 3 gold medals here. We'll try to get those as well. We have to do some mission tasks, and they are keep going, and sometimes you have to wait on cargo or on passengers. And then somewhere in between he will give you these bonus tasks. You can completely ignore them, some sort of achievement thing. If you want to do them, you can get for each of them an achievement, and some of them are very simple, as you will see. Chapter 1, Mission 1, Mining Miracle. In this first mission, it's also really step by step.
Welcome to uncharted territory, newcomer.
It will even tell you how to build things, so.
Then you're in just the right place. Gold rush fever holds sway in Virginia City. And you lucky devil, you've won the mining rights for a promising claim in a poker game at the Red Dog Saloon. Soon you'll be hauling out gold nuggets as big as a cat's head. Thanks to cleverness and luck at cards, you have a gold mine all your own. The former owner, a gallant saloon by the name of Susie, who plays a lousy hand of poker, already took care of the groundwork. And a practical woman, she left the necessary equipment behind too. Now all you have to do is to find the mine. Get an overview and find out where the riches lie.
As I said, in this first mission, it is pretty basic. As you can see on the bottom, everything is grayed out, but I will quickly go over those. The first 2 icons here are your managers. The first one on the left is your line manager. At this moment we cannot select any of them, and that is has to do with the mission is sort of also a tutorial. It will step by step will show you what to do and where you need to do it. That will be highlighted so that you know which every single icon is doing. If you need to make a new line, it's in the line manager. If you want to bring some new vehicles or bring extra vehicles in, it's in the vehicle manager. So those are your two managers. Then in the middle here you have your 5 building screens, let's say, your building menus. The first one is for the road, the second one is anything involving trains, the third one boats, the fourth one plane, and the last one is your terrain tool thing. You can bring in trees, you can remove some trees, you can dig a hole or make a mountain or any of that sort. That's over there. And then over here, the next one over is the bulldozer. If you don't like certain things, you can bulldoze them away. So those are the things that you're going to use the most throughout the game. The tooltips is here on the rest. There's a question mark. You can click on that. It will give you extra information in case you're stuck or something. And then if you have your money on the left bottom, which is your account. If you click on that, it will give you an overview of your finances. You can check the balance. You can see what your tracks are doing, what your towns are doing, and what your HQ. In this case, we started with company score 6. Normally you start at 0, obviously. You have to build it up. And I think you can go over 100, but the 100 is considered to be the maximum level. There is, for instance, an achievement for getting company score 100. That is if you don't play with mods, because if you play with mods, the achievements are disabled. So if you want to get all the achievements of the game, then you need to play it vanilla, basically. And you can always click on headquarters and build, and then you can build your headquarters, and then you see it over time evolve, going from a simple shed to a multi-million-dollar skyscraper at the end of the town. That's sort of how that works. You can also rename, like here, I can just call it RMD Transport or something like that. You can rename everything that you want, also towns and so. If you don't like the town names, you can change it. Alright, so he pretty much wants us to do what we did already in the beginning. He wants us to move the cameras, meaning moving it forward a bit and backwards a bit. There we go. Move the camera. We want to zoom, so we'll just zoom in and out. We want to rotate the camera. That is with Q and E, as I said before. And we want to tilt the camera, which is with R and F. Do that a few times.
Discover the entrance to the tunnel.
That is something, it's not that hard to find either. You go into settings, that's your keyboard or your controller. You can play this with a controller. Not that easy though, but it's good for movement basically, but not so much for the menu stuff, because then you need to click on extra buttons and so, which... Anyway. We need to move the camera. That's why I told us how to use the camera. We need to find the mine. It's very often finding things is just clicking on the exclamation mark. Or in this case,
what a promising claim.
Question mark.
Even though only a few boulders have been mined so far, that's no reason to lose heart. You'll just have to dig deeper. You ought to get hold of some solid timber from the nearby forest, so that the fine shaft doesn't cave in. The beams will be excellent for stabilizing the tunnel.
Build a station where the horse carts can be packed with logs.
He wants us to build a station in the highlighted area, and then that highlighted is also highlighted. You can look around for the map to see if you can find it. It's over there, right? You can do that with your cameras. That is an option. If you don't immediately see it, sometimes you need to go find things in a mountain or something. You can also just click on the word which is highlighted, and then it will just take you there. And now it wants us to build a station, and as you can see from all the options down below, only this first build menu is available, aka the road menu. So we click on road menu, and then you get this menu open. You have some settings here that you can select on your right. You can put the platforms on 20, 30, 10 meters. You can only put one platform. You can do whatever you want. You want it on the other side. You don't want any tram tracks. That makes it all a bit cheaper. Then when you put, if you put 2 platforms there, then it's going to make it immediately $80,000 or something like that. And then here you have, in the menu itself, you have streets, buildings, waypoints and tools. That's all for later. At this moment, it's just telling you this is where you find your road buildings. Road menu is highlighted, the buildings is available, and we can only select the truck at the moment. And we want us to play this here, and as you will see, it immediately clips. This is already a little trip. You can hold Shift, hold C, and then it doesn't clip. Hold C, and then it does not clip. You see? Then I can move it as close or as far as I want. If I want it there, make it a bit more smoother, I can bring it closer. If you hold C, it doesn't auto clip while you're moving your mouse. That is something that's not always clear. A lot of people are still not knowing that. If you're fine with it, you think like, okay, this is smooth enough. You just left click mouse and it will put it down.
Skulled driver which route he should take.
Now we want to establish a new line which runs from the new station that we just built in here to the existing station near the mine, which is over there. So here the game already built a station for us. This one has 2 platforms. The one that we built is a bit cheaper. It only has 1 platform. Now, of course, it's going to put up logs in here with only 1 platform. If you click on that station, you have options to first of all rename this, right? You can rename this. You can call that station, let's say, Virginia Logs. And then the next time you hover over it, then you know, oh, this is a log station. And then you can do the same for the other one. I like to rename things very often. That makes it easier to, like in this case, Virginia Mine. Then you know, then you can immediately see later on in your lines, oh, it goes from logs to mine. Oh yeah, okay, I'm transporting logs to the mine. And that's sort of how that works. I like to name everything. I like to code everything. I will explain my coding as I go. For instance, cargo train is CT. Cargo line is everything on the road with a truck, for instance. So he wants us to make a line, and as you can see, it has grayed out everything again except for the line manager. So that is where you make a line. So we click on it. We click on new line. I am going to rename it. You can rename things by always clicking on that little pencil. We are going to rename it cargo line 001. That's how I code my things. And this is logs to the silver mine or something like that. And see, we are doing logs. You can click on this color thing here and you can select your colors. If you want to do custom colors, again, hold down Shift and click on one of those 10 available boxes, and then you get this and you can choose whatever color you want. You can make it by dragging around this thing to whatever color you want. I think you can even fill the whole box like that. If you want to make your own colors, be my guest. In this case, we'll just use the little brown one because we are transporting logs. You click on that station. We want to go from there and we want to go there.
Now, there's got to be a small depot to park the horse-drawn carts too.
And now again, it still left our line available, so we can always double check our line. Okay, it's working. Now you can even specify here with filters. You can specify them what to do. Like you can say, okay, on Virginia Logs, you click on it so that it is highlighted. In case you have multiple platforms, you can choose which platform to go for. Or you can tell them, hey, go to all the platforms available. That is this button. And then you can tell them to wait so that they can pick up a full load. You can tell them to wait how long. Never do a minimum tops time, because then it's always going to, in case there are something that they can pick up, you want that thing at 0. So always put the minimum stop time on 0, maximum tops time, maybe 30 seconds. Something like that. And then I would say full load any. So it's going to full load any available. It's going to wait for 30 seconds and then it's going to full load whatever it can and then goes. You can also put it on full load all, and then he's going to wait till he is completely full. That is also an option. And then in the last bit you can just say like, hey, in case you have a big station with many things happening, then you might want to specify what that specific line here in this case wants to pick up. Now obviously this is very basic what we are doing here in mission 1, but I'm explaining it to you that it will make more sense as we go throughout the series. It will get more and more complicated. In this case we will load logs over there, and now we click on the other station, which is Virginia Mine, and we just tell them to unload the logs over there. Here we have two platforms. If you want to make it on one, you can. If you say like, yeah, now you know, this is just unloading, do both, then you select this thing and you select also the other platform. And then it will unload primary on number 1, but if number 1 is occupied, it will also unload on station number 2, or platform number 2 in this case. That's how that works. So that is the line. Of course you need to put vehicles on there, and to do that you need to buy a depot or a what I call a garage. In this case not a truck stop, so we want the other building this time, so you need to select it over here in the menu, select that building and put it down.
Everything's all set. Now all you have to do is to get hold of a cart to transport the wood.
Now what I'm going to do now is click on this thing and again rename it. I'm going to call it Virginia Garage. That makes more sense to me than depot, because a depot is for me is a warehouse. So this is a garage, and then you click on buy and you see what you have available. In this case we're clicking on cargo first, filter on cargo. Well, this is what we got. We got a horse in 1865 which can do 18 kilometers an hour, and it can carry has a capacity of 4 logs, which is not that many. So we'll buy 2 vehicles or something of those, select them, click on quantity 2, we can buy it for 47,000, sure.
A sturdy vehicle. The transport can get started.
Now we need to allocate the carts. We know the carts are in our depot, so now we have the vehicle manager becoming available here now. That is now lit up, so you can go on the vehicle manager, our 2 vehicles. We can give them the same color as the line, so there we go, make them brown. Then you could, for instance, now just call them CL01 logs, and then you can just Ctrl C and Ctrl V, in other words copy and paste. And now both of these are just called logs, and I can see in my line manager, I can see, oh, CL01, those are logs going from this plant to that plant, or from this city to that city. It will tell you that, and my code over here will tell me what line it is. And then you just click on the arrow here, and then you select from all your lines. In this case we only have 1 line, but you select the one you need, in this case the logs.
It won't be long before it's possible to dig deeper. Well then, good luck.
Now we need to press on play, because the whole time while we were doing this the game was on pause. So on the bottom here you have a pause button, you have a play, you have a 2 times play, let's say some sort of fast forward, and we have a 4x fast forward, which makes things move a little bit faster around. In the tutorial you cannot mess around with the date, but in when you're playing the game yourself, you can click on the date and then change the date speed as well, so that things do not evolve that much. What you normally do is you click on the date, you put it on 1/4 X, that is about 25%. That seems to be a good pace. Then things do change from after time, but not that quickly. If you put it on the normal speed, and especially if you play on 2x or 4x speed, that is the time, that the way the time moves, then it goes very fast sometimes. But what you could, for instance, do is you can click on the date and then pause the date and then put it on 4x speed to make things around, but then you stay on that same date. Then the time does not evolve in time. That is an option. And then whenever you have whatever you need, sometimes you need to wait on certain cargo or certain people to deliver your money, and then that's one way of doing it. We will explain that once we get there. Now what does he want us to do is press on play. In this case we'll put it on 2x to have a little bit of speed at least. And the map starts moving, you see people running around. You can click on people, it will tell you who they are, what they are doing. Every AI in this game has a name. So they are going to go to there on our little platform. That immediately means we're probably going to have an overload, because one of these platforms you can click on that station, You can click on terminals and it will tell you the capacity. It can only hold 20. So what you can do is you can say, hey, configure, we already have an overload. You can see exclamation mark, we have overload, so you can configure, click on cargo and put some extra platforms there. Right, and if we now click on the terminals, now we have a capacity of 100. So now they can already load 100. You can put some extra buildings on it. If you click on the buildings here, this one can hold 25 extra and this one can hold 75 extra. These buildings are not only there to make things look neat, they also have a capacity, so keep that in mind. A lot of options possible with all these stations. And now we are just waiting on these little boys here to deliver our logs. Now we go to the next one probably, and then some bonus missions might come in between. Usually when you're building, he comes up with a bonus mission. That's how it usually goes, which can be very annoying at times. You can always just let the bonus missions be and then do them at the end or something.
Ha! Not everything that glitters is gold. Maybe your poker partner was sharper than you thought. Despite all the hardship, the mine only brings in a few chunks of silver ore. At best, you ought to get rid of it before it ruins you. Luckily, you greenhorns constantly get stranded in Virginia City, who you can peddle that confounded pit to for good money. So, you got rid of the silver mine for a decent amount. Time to invest this money in a lucrative venture. And there's an excellent opportunity. All the ore from the mine must be transported to the silver mills down by the river. A railroad that takes over the transport would be a promising venture.
Okay, he wants to select a cargo station, rotate it and place it in the highlighted area to collect the silver ore from the mine. So in this case we have a new symbol available here on the bottom, which is the train thing. So we click on that, we click on buildings, and we're looking for a station. So we want a cargo terminus station. It's the only option that it gives us at the moment, so we have to select this. And then we can, over here we have some opportunities to make it 1, 2, 3 up to 8 tracks, and we have a length situation as well. And as you can see, there's a problem here. This thing is too long. Set the length to 120 meters in the setting, it tells me, so I will do that. There we go. And then you can sort of rotate yourself with M and N, or with Shift M and N if you want to make smaller things. That works fine. And then you can hold C to not make it clip, and if you want it a bit closer to the road, that is all possible, but in this case it just clips it in, that it fits in. So yeah, it just fits in.
The terrain is treacherous, requires a few very twisted curves.
So there are apparently some problems on the line. We need to connect the ends of Devil's Pass, Scholar Rocks and Washington, whatever that is. So what you do here is basically W to go forward, and then rotate yourself with Q and E. Just follow the track and see where we end up. There we go. So we need to connect these purples, so we go into the train menu again. We select tracks and then select the track. In this case only one available. Later on there will be high-speed tracks and things like that, and electrified tracks available. At the moment we just have a standard. We connect those two. The game itself will automatically make it a tunnel. As you can see here, we have these settings with minimum bridge height and minimum tunnel depth. That is because we went into the coding folder there and put that thing on true, so that we can change the height and the depth of bridges and tunnels. In this case we're not going to mess with that, we'll just leave it at this. But I think by default, I think it's, as you can see, it's 12 meters I think, but you can see we can make this tunnel longer, and that might be handy later on. But I think this is the default. I think it's 12 meters. I sort of put it in the middle already, that filter. That's not something you will be able to do if you have not changed that in your gaming folder, as I showed in the beginning. And the same for the bridge. I sort of put it on 6.6 and then play around with it accordingly. So that's the first thing he wants us to do, and then the second thing You can press R here. You can see he wants us to make a corner. You can zoom in and go a little bit further if you want to, but in this case it clips and it will connect and it will do it automatically for us. So that's also connected. We rotate ourselves around again, and then he wants us to do a bridge. Washington Hill. Also here you can probably make that bridge a little bit cheaper, or a different bridge if you have available. Not in 1865, but later on you have many bridges available to choose from. Then you can click on that icon over there and you can click, but in this case it's either a bridge or just a sand bearing sort of. So yeah, we'll go for the bridge in this case.
Build a railroad route that rapidly transports all the ore to the valley.
So now we're gonna zoom out a little bit and look around what needs to be done. We need to go from Virginia. Also here, we'll click on this. Virginia Cargo Station. And he wants us to go over here, which we will just call Carson Cargo Station. And then we need to set a line, so that's in our line manager again. Not the logs line, of course. We need to create a new one, and apparently we're doing what are we doing? Silver ore. I will customize the color with shift click on this first box here, and then we'll make a light gray sort of. There we go, and apply, and then we'll select that color as being our silver. In this case we have a cargo train number 1, which will bring silver from Virginia to Carson. That's the line, and we want to go from this station to that station.
A respectable railroad calls for a proper railroad yard.
The same story here again. As with the vehicles, we need a vehicle garage. In this case, we also have one for trains. We're gonna build that one there. So click on trains, buildings, and that's where it is. The train depot. We're gonna rotate that thing a bit. Again here, hold shift and then use M and N to turn it. There we go.
A truly well done structure. Now it just needs to be connected.
Click on the train menu again. This time we are tracks. Select the track, rotate it in such a way that we have connection here. You always want to drag it as with a high speed as possible. So something like this, it will not allow us to go any further to make higher speed. We can probably make a 120 speed turn, kilometers that is, 75 miles an hour if you play in Imperial.
It's high time to buy a beautiful locomotive together with a few freight cars.
Click on this. We'll rename this Virginia TD, which stands for train depot in my coding system, and TMD is the tram depot. You can also call this RD, for instance, the garage. I called it garage now, but you can also call it RD for road depot if you want. But let's see, what we want to do here is we need cargo, and what I'm always doing when I'm doing this, I always look like what do we have available from cargo or passenger carriages before we do any of the locomotives, because it will tell you a few things. In this case we have a capacity of 7. We don't know how much we need to transport, so it will also not allow us to buy much probably. We can get a top speed of 50 kilometers an hour, loading speed is 1x, and that's about it. We don't have anything to compare with because we only have this available. So we know we can get 50 kilometers an hour, and then of course we don't have any diesel or electric locomotives available yet. And then you go into your locomotives. We can only buy this one in 1865, which means no matter if our cargo thing can do 50 kilometers an hour, our locomotive cannot. So you sort of want to at least get something with speed of the cargo car, because it's whatever is the highest speed of the two, that is the limitation of your train. So in this case, we have to buy this one. I don't know how many of these cargo things we can buy. Let's buy 3. It's already mediocre, right? But only with one car it says good. But the moment we add another one, it's going to mediocre already, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 7. You can do 7 before it goes to poor. So that is also something you want to look at. Obviously, in this case, we just want to deliver some silver. I'm just going to do 2, 3. I don't know what we need to do in case we have to do 20. Then we can do 20.
What a handsome iron horse. Time to send it on its maiden journey.
And now we need to allocate it to the line. So we go into our depot again, click on the train, give it the color that we have our line, and we will just recall it CT01 silver. That's all we need. We know it will go from Virginia to Carson's once we look in our line manager and look for the CT01. Then we know what it does. And you put it on the line, obviously. You can also give it that color and put it on the line.
Ore transport is picking up speed. With a little luck, it'll make you richer than all the silver in Nevada ever could.
And there's our boy. You can also click on that train and then it comes out and you can go into cockpit view, but we'll leave that for later because I think that's our first bonus mission, actually. I'm gonna put it on 4x though, that thing, because this thing needs to load silver and has to go to the other side of the valley. And meanwhile, we're waiting here at the moment. Now, what you do have is not something you have to worry about, is money in this campaign missions, because they gave us 100 million. You need to make very big mistakes to actually go broke in this campaign. When you start playing for yourself, that's a totally different story, because then it's all about making money with your lines.
Yes, the deed is done. The first train is rolling down the line. People are dropping everything to cheer your marvel of engineering. Don't pass up the chance to climb aboard and give him a friendly wave.
We'll accept this.
Let's have a big round of applause.
He wants us to use the camera, as I said. Select the train and use the cockpit camera. So you go into this menu here, you click on the train, you go click on this little camera on the left top of the screen. And there we are.
Hooray! There's no end to the rejoicing. And it's all thanks to you.
The bonus mission is done. But we'll follow it in. You can press escape once and then he still follows that train. As you can see, our first gold medal is done for the achievement. We can close out on all this. He will just keep following the train. You can even zoom out. He will still keep following the train. If you press escape once.
Thanks to your railroad, silver smelting is moving fast and furious.
If you press escape again, you will stay here and then the train will go. And now you can do whatever you want.
Ruin their good shoes on the muddy streets.
So we click on hooray. We have done the cockpit thing. Okay. So that is out of the way. That's our first bonus mission completed. And now we go back to this one and see what he wants.
Find out about the needs of your future passengers.
He wants us to activate the land use layer. That is on the top left of your screen. You can open that. Those are the data layers. If you play with a controller, I think it's your menu button, which opens a wheel on your screen with all the layers. What you can also do is use numpad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you open this, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 available. In this case, the third one is highlighted, so what you can do, you can just press number 3.
Your services are needed to the same degree everywhere in town.
Build a bus stop in each of the highlighted areas in Carson City. And what are those highlighted areas? If we activate the land layer again, the green area is the residential area, the blue area is the commercial area, and the yellow area is the industrial area. what the game is basically telling you here is, in case you want to create a bus line, you want to put at least one stop in each of these regions, so that people can go from home in the residential area, they can go shopping in the commercial area, or they can go to work in the industrial zone. And then you can make some lines going around this. Now what you could, for instance, do is, I don't know if it will help, but we can't build streets. Otherwise I would connect these streets over here. These two streets, that we have a bit of a more of a rotational flow around the city, but apparently not working. So what he wants us to do here is exact in those spots. You click on, you go to the road building menu again. Meanwhile, we already have 4 buildings. We can click on, we have a station for bus and trams, or you have a stop. In this case, we just need a few stops. Now you can put a stop on one side and make one line, or you can put a stop on both sides, and then you can go clockwise and counterclockwise through your city, especially big cities. That is advisable. In this tutorial campaign thing, we just need one in each.
Make sure your coaches don't miss any stops.
So we need to make a line, and we need some vehicles. We need a link first. So okay, first the line he wants. I like to do green for passengers, so we'll do light green here. In this case, we use buses or horses more than likely. So in that case, the code is BL for me, for bus line. And this is Carson City. And we want to go here and there and there. Do the 3 stops.
Build a depot where the horses can be hitched up and the coaches can wait.
Now we're gonna build the depot. Also here again, you want to build your buildings, has to do with emissions, and so you don't want to mess too much around in the residential area, because that's gonna kill your city's emission output, and that actually will bring down the growth of your cities. But for this occasion I am going to put it here, because otherwise they're on the stops are on the wrong side of the road. It's going to even take longer, so we will just put them on this side. But normally you want to put your depot on the yellow area somewhere. But then our bus stops are on the wrong side because we didn't double line them yet. So in this case I will just put it here. That makes more sense. Then they will immediately start picking up people there.
Purchase a few coaches with horses so that you can get started.
What you wanna, the general rule here is probably one coach for every bus stop that you have. Depends a bit though. I don't know what the numbers are, but 115 people is actually... I never do bus stops in the city unless it's 200 people in there. But in this case, of course, we're playing a tutorial, we have to. He wants us to buy 3. Again, we'll give them a color of our line, and you do a bus line 01, and then you do the copy pasting. There we go, and you put them on the line. What's the problem? Oh, we selected cargo vehicles. That's also not a problem. So we'll click on those, select these vehicles. We'll go to replace and click on passenger and click on the passenger horses. What are you doing, mate? Replace them with this thing, replace. It doesn't want to do it. For some reason it doesn't want to do it. Okay, then we'll just sell them and buy new ones, because it doesn't want to replace them apparently. I guess we're not supposed to know that yet, that you can replace things. But there you can see also, obviously, what you saw there was, in case you make a mistake like that, that's the game will tell you. In the tutorial, once you start playing, it will not tell you anything anymore. So these are silly mistakes that you can make. I obviously made the mistake on purpose here.
Great. The first passengers are already...
Just to tell you, like, be careful with what you buy. Make sure you have the right vehicles. We have the speed on 4, so these guys are going to move around.
The Territorial Enterprise reports.
While they are picking up 5 people, and while we are waiting on that, we'll do our second one here.
Leaped from tree to tree, was at least 10 feet tall, had a shaggy black pelt, and enormous feet. Ask the reporter what it's all about.
There are people waiting here on the stops here now, so we will start bringing people around, but we have to wait a little bit anyway, so we can meanwhile do the second bonus task. This is probably just clicking on a few question marks.
The reporter, a certain Mr. Clemens, has revealed his source to you. An old good-for-nothing by the name of Sam Hawk. The good man was happy to provide information. The monster got a few feet taller with each whiskey you bought him. Word has it that it gobbles up whole cows and picks the remains out of its
Ponderosa Ranch.
wagon tongue. Old Cartwright and his son didn't take too kindly to your visit to the Ponderosa Ranch. Apparently you're not the first to be hot on the monster's heels. The rancher claims that dozens laid siege to their land, but just when he was about to run them off, they hurried away towards Lake Tahoe with a paper hot off the presses in their hands.
What's this? House on the Prairie? Ponderosa Ranch, obviously a Bonanza reference.
The Territorial Enterprise reports. The wild...
And that was our... it briefly showed up on the top. That was our second gold tasks. Now what we can already see here, we also have Reno available on this map with a passenger station. So you can see one of our next things is probably going to have to connect this. That is also something that I normally do, is get a panoramic overview of your map. Also in these campaign missions, you can definitely do things in advance. You can see you have an ore mine here, you can see you have a cargo station here, so you already more or less know you're going to have to connect those things.
Two-bit town. A magnificent little city. Make sure that the rest of the world is finally
here we have it.
to Carson City, a veritable boom town.
So we want us to make a connection between these bus stops. That also tells me we're going to have to bring passengers to the station. Especially this bus stop will do that. It covers this area over here. So what I am going to do... See, we're going to have to bring people across. You can see this happening. We're going to do the same thing there. Before we do anything else. Because otherwise we're going to have to wait a long time. I always advise you to do that. If you have any of these missions where you need to bring people from one place to another, make sure you have bus lines in those cities that bring people to the station. That goes way faster. Otherwise you're sitting, waiting here 30, 45 minutes, waiting till the 20 or 30 people have crossed over that you need to bring over. So it's always a good idea to put a building around. Can we build streets yet? No, we can't. So we cannot connect these roads either. Alright. Actually need currently another route. Okay. We probably have to connect this first. I'm ahead of things again. We're gonna do that as soon as it's connected. We're gonna build a bits line there. Otherwise, it takes ages to bring people across. Buildings. This time he wants as it gives us more options here. In this case, he wants we want to use the passenger station. Obviously, 1 track will do. 120 will do. We'll turn it around. Hold C so that it doesn't clip, and see if we can fit it in. We're gonna have to remove some buildings, which is costing us money, but if we do it like this, we only have to remove that small place by the looks of it, which will cost us about 150,000. If we put it like this, that's 400,000 to almost remove those 2 buildings. So this is cheaper. if you want to make sure, what you can also do is go into your filter here and press 1, for instance. Then it will show you the layer, and then you can it doesn't let us use the layer yet, but that is something you can do. And that layer will come with lines, and then you can sort of see what is going on. Every line is 10 meters higher, so you want to stay within certain lines then. Something like that, okay.
Buy a train arrangement that brings people from all over the world to Carson City.
We need to build a new depot near the line and connect it. Now the question is, now that we have connected these stations, can we now build in here yet? Now we can. Okay, I'm gonna do that first then. We're gonna put something here in the residential area. We'll put one over here, and we'll put one over there. We'll put a depot here. Create a new line. Let's make it a bit more darker green. Bus line number 2, which is Reno City. And we want you to go from there to there to there. Click on this, buy 3 vehicles, passenger. Select them, select the color. Bus line 2. There we go. And put them on the line. They will go around, they will start bringing people to the station before we are even here with our train. Now we go back here. It does not matter where we put that depot. Whether it goes first here or first there, it doesn't matter. We immediately have people over there already on our bus stop, so that's good. So we'll just connect it over here somewhere. So we have to grab a track again. And we can even let it go 2 ways if we want to. Something like this. There we go, and then the train can decide where it wants to go. Buildings, depot, and now you rotate it and just connect it to this track. Now what did we do with the cargo? 3, we'll do the same here. We'll have a look what they have available for passengers. So wagons passengers, 14 people, 50 kilometers an hour. 1, 2, 3 will do. And also, yeah, we're gonna go 40 kilometers an hour anyway. This thing doesn't have much tractive effort. Is 25 kilonewtons or whatever it is. That's basically your acceleration. The higher that one is, and your power is in case you need to go up hills or something. You want high power, but what in general the rule is: the most power for cargo, the most top speed for passengers, basically.
Time to inaugurate the line from Reno to Carson City, the town built on silver.
Okay, so he wants us to go from there to there. So we need a new line.
There's firewood up in Glenbrook that'll get the steam engines in the silver works puffing real nice.
This is a perfect
Watch
example.
out that you don't cross paths with the Cartwrights from the Ponderosa Ranch. They're not the kind of folks to tangle with.
We're in the middle of building something, and there he comes with our third bonus mission that is sometimes very annoying, and he always does it. He always interferes when we are in the middle of a building screen. And then the pop-up closes everything else of your menu, so you have to start all over again. Let's make it pinkish or something. So this is gonna be our passenger train, 001. Virginia to Reno. So we want him to go from here to there. Line is recognized, that's all good. Now we click over here. We call this passenger train 001 and we color it the same color as the line we gave it, and we put them on there.
We're off and running. Everyone is dead set on riding your beautiful railroad.
We need 20 passengers from one way and 20 passengers from the other way, and that's why I put another bus stop there, because otherwise we have bus stop going on around here. This stop is connected to this station. If you click on it, you will see it lights up, so these people will go to the train without a problem. But if you don't put a bus stop in the other town, then we are waiting on the others. While we are waiting on those people, now we can click on the Ponderosa Ranch and see what he wants there.
You barely got away from the Cartwright boys. Now get a respectable load of logs down to the valley as fast as possible before the ranchers come back again.
So now he wants us to pick up some logs over here. So we'll put that thing over there. This is the Ponderosa Ranch, so Ponderosa logs over here. We will configure that, make sure that there is a bit of room. That is not something you can do immediately when you start playing for yourself, because you're limited on money, but in these tutorial missions, don't worry about it. We want us to go from here to the timber thing here. So we call this Carson Timber Mill or whatever it is. Something like that, I think. Oh, the furnace. It's the furnace, apparently. So we want a new line. We'll make it a bit of a different brown than the other one. So this is cargo line number 2. Ponderosa logs to Carson, and that needs to go from there to there. Alright, all good. We have a depot over there, so we don't need to put another depot here. We have a road depot sitting there, which is the Carson RD, which we haven't renamed yet. And this is Carson City TD, which we also haven't renamed yet. Cargo this time. We'll put, I don't know what we need to do, but we'll start with 2 for now. What color did we use? This brown or something, I think. So this is CL2 logs. Copy paste and put it on the 2 line. So these boys will come up here, go to the Ponderosa lands, pick up some logs and bring them to the furnace over here. So that's our last of our bonus missions going, and meanwhile we are waiting on people as well. So the rest is a bit of a waiting game, I think, and that will be it for the first mission, more than likely, unless there is something else we need to do. We're definitely on the last bonus missions, because there are only 3 bonus missions in every of these thingies. Let's see what's going on with our train. He has 21 people with him, so whenever he drops off, bring people to Carson City, bring people to Rinso. So this is bringing people to, he has 21 people, they should go to Reno, should be done then. But then he needs to bring a few people back. There we go, he dropped off everybody, and he brings 34 people back. And he also started making some money already. Although 21 people were on the train, apparently only 12 of them got up and 9 stayed on, apparently. Because there were 21 people on the train and it only counted 12 to bringing to Reno. So yeah, that thing has to go up and down a few more times, I guess. Meanwhile, our log truck's over there. Deliver logs from the range to the timber supply. To the furnace here. So yeah, I don't know. I think we just one vehicle would have probably just done it as well. So this guy has 34 people. That should be enough to get this to 20. It's not counting everybody, that's pretty clear. There he is, arriving on the station. Okay, Carson to city is checked now. Bring people to Reno, now went 3 higher. Although we stopped on Carson, the Reno went up now. Now we have 41 people, our train is almost full, going back. Also made us about 300,000 a year, that is the money a year. Now it brings people to Reno 16, 17, 18. Yeah, we had 21 people there.
Thanks to the supply, silver ore processing is running at full swing, which means your transport business too.
There we go. We just got our last medal in time. And as soon as that train over there delivers those people, I think we are done with this mission.
The silver business is doing splendid. A cluster of pathetic shacks has become the swankiest town in the whole West, where you find the most exquisite shops, the best saloons, and the loveliest ladies of ill repute far and wide. Many an opportunity suggests itself to spend those silver dollars you so richly deserved. Your railroad business is the real gold mine in the state of Nevada.
And that is sort of how all of these campaign missions will be going. We will go through all of them, why not? And we will post it. Obviously this was the first one, it's usually the easiest one, and we, of course, I explained a little bit how the movement works and everything like that. But even that episode took us over an hour. The next episode, we will not talk to you about the tutorial movement, we already did that. So we will start immediately with the next mission. But some of these missions will take 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever. Especially the last ones. So we'll see how we'll do that. Do we make an episode for about around an hour, or we just do mission by mission? We will see. This was the first one, and this is how it goes. If everything works accordingly to plan, you should have done, by the time you have done everything, you should have done your 3 bonus missions in between, and you will get your 3 missions. If not the case, let's say we were a bit too late with our Ponderosa launch, and we already had the people moving between the 2 cities, then we would not have the Ponderosa Ranch gold achievement thing here. Then you can click on continue playing, and you can still do it. So you can still get them, those 3 going. So in this case we just return to the main menu, because
It's
our
the dawning
mission
of the
has
20th
finished.
century. The island of Java, tropical jewel in the midst of the Indian Ocean, conscientiously administrated. Mankind is
You can just go back now to this menu, or you can start with what was it, coffee and something in the Java area. So this time we're going to Indonesia for our second mission. The first time obviously we were in the USA. We will also see that the USA is more of the dry desert climate. It's more like in the canyon area, let's say. Grand Canyon area and something like that is where most of these things are happening. In the mountain states area mostly. And that's why it's called the dry climate. And then you have the temperate climate, which is more European, more forest, more green and grass and whatnot. And then you have the tropical or Asian climate, which is more about water and islands, and gives you more of a Caribbean vibe in a way. Those are the 3 things that you can play around with as well. You have USA vehicles, you have European vehicles, you have Asian vehicles, and then you have the 3 climates being dry, temperate and Asian. Asian being the tropical one, in a way. And you can play around with that. That is also something that I always do, is in the settings I always select all vehicles. In this case, also in the tutorial missions, I think you only get the vehicles from that specific climate that you're playing in. But when you play your own game, you can select all by one of the settings in the menu, and then you have all of the vehicles available. That probably would have given us a bit of a faster train, which could actually do 50 km an hour instead of 40. Anyway, we'll leave it at this. Tuesday transport, or Transporter Tuesday, or whatever we will call it, we will see. Mission number 1. We might do another one on Thursday, or we'll keep the other episode for next Tuesday, and we'll bring something else on the other days. We're sort of making some series from games that we have sitting, especially with an eye on what is coming. In this case, Transport Fever 3 is coming, so we're playing a bit of a playthrough, a bit of campaign, a bit of other stuff, playing our own map in a way. Before Transport Fever 3 comes out, we play a bit of Transport Fever 2. And we'll probably do something similar with other games. Thinking of doing maybe a new trucker profile in Eurotruck, start all over again, do some episodes on that. Something to keep ourselves busy and have fun. That's the plan of our the new structure of the channel for 2026. Let's put it that way. As for now, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.